Hi, Carrie. All right, I'm going to do your 15-minute spiritual healing now. So, I'm going to go as guided by spirit, and then we're also going to explore any spiritual connections that may come up as well. So, so I'm entering into your spiritual atmosphere. There's instantly what is like a star right here, and I feel like it's almost like, okay, you have a fishing line, you're gonna catch a fish, right? So the hook, a fish isn't going anywhere because it's on the hook now and you're reeling it in. So something about there's a fishing line and it's attached to the star here on the third eye, and it's just sort of pulling you upward. The fishing line has caught the fish. You're a fish that has been caught, and it is caught into the third eye. They're showing me you being pulled out of water just like a fish, and the hook right here. And like a fish, there's some sort of version of, you just have to accept the way the line carries you out. You don't have any control or ability to pull the hook off or alter this. You just accept that it has happened, and then what is to come next. So as I'm watching this scene, I see lots of sort of, you've been pulled out, right? And you're just sort of like hanging, kind of even like a fish, although you're a human being. With this in the third eye hooked in there, there's still a spark in here, and then there's sparkles of energy coming down around the head and then just around you, almost like gold, like sparkle dust that creates like a robe or something. There is so many different motions suddenly taking place. I saw you put finger in mouth and sucking on your finger while simultaneously you're being lifted and pulled elsewhere. Does an angel come down and do this? Was it a scarier face? I can't gather what happened just so quickly there. I saw both. I saw what was like an angel coming down and lifting you up and carrying you, just whatever the scene is, angel comes and takes you to another space or reality. Just before the angel was fully able to lift you, there was kind of a scarier face, like a prison inmate kind of. I mean, he even had sort of like a blue garb on, like a prison outfit or something made me think of that. I mean, he but all not necessarily being a prison inmate, there's just something gruff about his style and uncaring, and about others just wanting to get whatever his job is done. And that was in and out really quickly. You're literally kind of like an infant and in even a sack, and it's like the stork has got you and taking you somewhere. And this scene is really full of light. I mean, you're a baby inside a sack, the stork is taking you, and you're moving your head through kind of the opening of this cloth sack, and you're looking out across the world below you, and the sun is shining, and you have a real curiosity. And now again, you're sucking on your thumb, but this time, instead of being an adult, you're a baby. It's just a natural instinctive behavior. There is something of this original scene that can feel like a fish out of water. And that's not a good feeling. I mean, it's not a good feeling for you to have that experience. But you do get these shifts where you do get taken higher, and in those moments, it's really dazzling and enlightening, and you feel really high in awareness and acceptance. Babies just accept the way the world is. Obviously they can't exactly stand up and say no. They just have a natural just acceptance of everything transitions, and they're just in the now moment all the time. They're drawing me a triangle. There's a rounded part where the stork and the baby are, and there's over here is the bottom of the triangle where that sort of weird with you of the fish pulled out of water, and there should not be a hook inside your third eye. There's a star here, which feels very positive, but that experience was not. The hook in here was not good. So down here is this. This is, we don't know what this on this side of the triangle is. It's trying to manifest or tell me what it is, but I have no ability to describe the images. What looks like the backside of a whale or something coming through a slit of a line. There appears to be water involved, but I'm not certain of that. There's also odd scaly skin over here. Everything is sort of like a book being opened, but which page do we open to? Here's this story about the whale. Here's this story about the reptilian. But it's all smushy coming out and splatter at the exact same time. It's like, can we eat apple pie, peach pie, cherry pie, pecan pie all in one bite? Can we just smush it all in our mouth and try to swallow it down? That's kind of what this feels like. Too many pictures smushed together, and I'm supposed to make sense of it. I can't make sense of all of this at one time. You have to take things one thing at a time. They're showing that that there's something about this now, this moment in the now brings the light and the higher clarity. But these two, there's something about this triangle as well, because this is like the higher self up here, and this is like the human experiences down here. I'm telling you, there's an instant rumble of I'm just pissed off. I'm just really pissed off and frustrated right now. And that comes through this odd seam where I'm trying to make sense of what's inside there. What are the images? I can't make them out because they're smushy together. And I'm really mad about that too. I mean, I am demanding, there needs to be more clarity. There needs to be more answers. I'm really frustrated about something going on right now. This just isn't good enough. These two is just not good enough. How do we allow you to feel each page turning one at a time? You can't read a whole story by having a closed book. I can't read the book. It's closed. And so you can't read all the pages all at one time by just opening up to one page, you know? And so you have to start at the beginning and then just one page at a time. It feels insanely slow. How are we going to get to the end of the story already? It's like you want to have all the answers without actually opening the book, but reading it one page at a time. The thing is there's like a gluckiness about the way these images are, right? But all the while, we're not that far away from clarity, from really figuring this thing out. And the higher self is always a part of you. You're always striving to raise the vibration to come into a state of higher clarity. And sometimes in order to achieve it, you've got to read things one page at a time. You got to look at the scene and actually say, you know what? There's something I like about the third eye being open and being of a higher awareness, but there's something not right when I'm feeling dragged around by it, when I'm feeling it is in control of me and I'm not in control of it. When I feel that there's sometimes some weird pest involved, I don't know what that's all about, but it wasn't a friendly face. It wasn't a trustworthy hug. It wasn't a fine, charming dinner with somebody you are romantically involved in. It was like, it wasn't a nice face. It wasn't a cozy thing. So, again, in the midst of these rumblings, it's just like, I don't know, you have a really large tarp and you're just doing this and it's making noises and you just, I don't know, it's like really shook up is the only way I could describe it. It's just a rumbling of feeling really shook up. But all the while, in the seams of really shook up, you could just stop and just say, I'm going to smooth out the paper. It's been all crumpled up because of all this rufflings. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to smooth it out. And I'm just going to come to the Om moment. And I'm going to sort of blend into my seams of my body and my choices and my balance, right? And I'm going to slow down and rejoice in reading each page, word for word, one page at a time. There's something about slowing down and just taking it one day at a time kind of thing. I love the way that feels now because the patient side is starting to be the stronger energy force that I get to feel. And it's entering into the round ball down here and the ball down here of these two images, the fishing scene and then the book scene. They're showing me when you are in the state of patience and collected and balanced, when you are in the Om moment of, there's some sort of balance that once you achieve that, this triangle becomes like the head of a rocket ship and it starts blasting off and going upward. And they say in order to accomplish this, you gotta find literally what could be like the emotional body is really expanded out and touching everything around you and absorbing all this sort of data. And it's coming in and really fast and it's inspiring thoughts and decision making. But we need to, here's the drawing of a human being. Here's the drawing of the emotional body. Here's the drawing of the mental body. Here's the physical body. So everything is contained together. It's together. It's balanced. It's solid. It's grounded. That is the face forward. Instead of, here's the physical body, emotional body, whoa, it's like a splatter and it's humongous. Where's the mental body? Where it's this something about it just needs to get, all the lines need to get together again, and everything just needs to be balanced and contained in a way. It's the way it feels. And the more that I share this sort of balance energy, it just really creates instantly like the super happy in both of these balls. It just gets it. The balls are spheres of wisdom. They're like orbs of wisdom, and they start to really radiate understanding that's really balanced and smart, and just patience or just containment of reactions, or I don't know what this is, but it's just slowing things down, energetically slowing down, does some worlds of good to both of these. I'm still in that state of sharing energy of what feels like slowing down just lightly tapping the brake, and we're just coming from 100 miles per hour down to just, 15 miles per hour or something. Just slowing down. When things slow down, you actually can take the hook out of here. You can actually see that, I'm not a fish and I don't live in water and I don't even know what this boat thing is all about, but I actually want to just go back. I want to just, human beings can't be fish. Human beings have to just be human beings, and you live on land, and Sometimes you go swimming, but you've got to be in balance with your environment. It feels a lot better because it's sort of coming to a state of I get it. I actually get it. That's kind of what this feels like. And even you get it to a degree that you're making a choice within your heart and you're entering onto a land scene. And you're smiling. I mean, you feel like yourself, and it feels like you are blossoming into yourself. I mean, you're not only a human being that's smiling on the land because you were able to get out of that weird boat scene by yourself, by choices that you make for yourself. You're on the land now, and that you're actually, there's something about you also blossoming as a flower. It just feels like this is you. This is more you than the other scene was ever you. The other scene was just full of so many just details that don't have any relationship to who you actually are. You, in this other scene with the book, it's some part of you is just, there's something about this book that you're just sort of like, that's not actually the book that I was intending to find the discoveries that I'm looking for. It's not fulfilling me. This wisdom is not providing the nutrition, something about this book of wisdom is not the right book of wisdom. You're trying to squeeze through higher wisdom there's something not accurate about the wisdom that you're trying to smush out of this book, and the whole thing just wasn't quite right. Even slowing down and actually choosing, you're not choosing to open the next book right away. You're not even choosing to go to the library to find the next book. You're actually just saying, you know what, I just need a break from this book for a little while, or from searching for certain answers. And this part of you is actually just standing up and just being happy to just be yourself. You're just choosing to be happy to just be yourself. As that happens, they show me the scene with you, and there's sort of like a iguana that's running out of your gut region. I see you're wearing kind of like an elf hat or something. Sometimes I see you as female and male blended in one. But still there's some kind of dynamic where you're just not quite feeling yourself yet. You're going into some really deep thoughts. And it's some thoughts about examining self-awareness, or just self-examination, and just contemplating your identity. Is just contemplating who you are, what you believe in, or what you feel about life and the spirit realm, or your connection with everything, or your spiritual development, or you're just really thinking right now. But as you're thinking, there's still some other sort of aspects of you that still aren't quite balanced. How are you going to get balance? You can't do it by driving 100 miles per hour. It's sort of like you're in a residential neighborhood driving 100 miles per hour. You're not, and you want to look at the Christmas lights. It's like, you can't look at the Christmas lights going 100 miles per hour. You can't, you have to slow down, and you have to coast through the residential neighborhood to actually appreciate the Christmas lights. Otherwise, you're not going to see anything. It's just going to be flash. And so they're really emphasizing again that in order to experience the bliss of creation or the bliss of what you are longing to see, you got to slow down the engine a little bit and take it slower one day at a time, and know that nobody has all the answers overnight. Nobody solves this puzzle of life even in one lifetime. That's why souls incarnate like over and over again, because you can't just solve you can't have all the experiences of an infinite universe in one lifetime. That is what they're saying. They're showing me this part of you, this higher self part of you. It rejoices in the curiosities of the world that it sees and the way that it experiences life in many different ways. And it doesn't have any friction at all in association with with what is the human experience. It just allows everything to just be. And it stays in the now. And it smiles and it giggles and it's full of natural laughter, and it's inquisitive. It loves it's like being in a hot air balloon and looking at all of the world below you. But the sun is so beautiful, and it's on the side, it's not up in the sky, and so it's kind of like the sun setting in this sort of beautiful colors, but there's light, right? So you can see everything, and it's really enchanting. It's just always in the now and always in a balance and a state of oneness with everything. And it's beautiful. It's really pure and pristine and genuine. It's not trying to make sense of any of this. It's just taking it in naturally. It doesn't ask, babies don't ask, why does my mom look like that? They just allow themselves to see that is mother, And they just accept everything they see. And they're happy. That's all Spirit's going to allow me to share with you, Carrie. So, excuse me. Thank you for this experience. Definitely curious to see what it means to you. And I'll be thinking about these images, that's for sure. All right. So for those of you watching, if you're interested in experiencing spiritual healing or psychic wisdom with me, please visit my website at abbynormalswisdomquest.com. Thank you for watching.